Hello everyone, I'm back again and I'm here to review another book. Now, what I want to preface this with is that it's my first review that isn't entirely positive. I hope that doesn't put anyone off listening to what I have to say. Really did enjoy the book, but there are a couple of little niggles, I suppose. So the book I'm reviewing today is called Waylander. It was written by David Gemmell, who has since passed away. And it's one of a group of novels in a sort of semi-connected series called the Danni novels. So it's set in the war-torn land of Drennan, where the Danni are in a war, almost like a feud, with the Vagrants, and that is basically where we begin the tale. We are in the midst of this war, and Waylander himself is arguably on the wrong side. Let me tell you a bit more about Waylander. He is a Danni, however he is also an assassin. And that's where the really interesting things about this story really pivot around. The fact that Waylander is an assassin but also has this very strong sense of justice kind of sets him apart. That's basically what I'm saying about this book. Waylander, the title character, is what keeps the book going. Because of how interesting the character is and how kind of strange he is compared to what you're used to, it does bring the story along and it draws you in to find out what's going to happen to him next. The rest of the characters seem to be kind of built in just to give him some support, almost like a scaffold, and you're not really quite as concerned about what they go through or what happens to them unless it directly concerns Waylander. I think because I'm used to quite epic fantasy novels with big ensemble casts where each member of a particular group has some role to play or something interesting to bring the story along, I was kind of disappointed when I read this book and I found myself not really caring about any character other than the main lead. And the plot itself is interesting. It's basically hero goes off to collect prized item in order to save the world. However, there's your obvious pitfalls, your twists and turns, but the twists are almost as obvious as those in the new Star Trek movie. Yep, I went there. And because of that, you're really just kind of skipping through the plot to find out how the character develops, which I think is a good way to write a story, really. You're more leading it with the character and their reactions and their emotions and kind of helping the reader to develop a bond with that character. Whereas the plot itself isn't particularly well written. As a side note, I do a little bit of copy editing, and because of that I did notice a couple of spelling errors and the odd grammatical mistake, and I don't know, for me that really puts me off, but some people probably wouldn't even notice. All in all, I would say you should get to know Waylander. He's a very cool, interesting guy, and this book kind of tells you a bit about him, so you probably should pick it up. If you're a stickler for really exciting plot and really interesting side characters, then maybe you should steer clear. But on the whole, I would say Waylander and the sequel Waylander 2 are well worth getting into. With that, I'll see you soon.